The Border-Gavaskar Trophy, BGT as it's called, is scheduled to kickstart in just some days from now. There's a lot of buzz around India's preparation for the big series. Head coach Gautam Gambhir is already under fire. That series against New Zealand, a whitewash, was a wake-up call for the hosts back then. So the pressure is on the visitors now. Here's someone else who won't feature in that first test, and probably that's why is facing some of the heat. Captain Rohit Sharma, who's just become a father a second time. He and his wife Ritika Sachdeva are parents to a baby boy, and he has decided to give the first test a miss because of this, and that's been met with a lot of backlash. Fans a tad too critical there, pointing out that he should have been there for that first test with the Indian squad already behind the 8 ball. But life happens. How can you make the most of the hand that you're dealt with, and how can you make this situation work for your team? That's what the Indian management, the think tank, need to be thinking about now, because the pressure will also be on the man stepping in to lead the charge in Rohit Sharma's absence. India's lead pacer Jasprit Bumrah, the right man to step in and lead India. Now, how is India preparing for this particular series? It's a humongous task. Usually there are warm-up matches that the visitors tend to play whenever they're touring a country. They play with the host's A or B string sides. India cancelled those matches and decided to do match simulations instead. A few former cricketers, particularly Michael Vaughan, did not find that decision too smart.
I can't get my head around a team like India only wanting to play an intra-squad game leading into a series against Australia in their own backyard. I just can't see how you get yourself in that competitive mindset of consequence by playing an intra-squad game. Time will tell.
Vaughan may have his own set ways and is always overcritical, especially when the team involved is India. But does he have a point to make here? Could a match against one of the host teams, a warm-up game, have prepared India a little better on what to expect when the series begins? It is going to be a first for a few of those players in the Indian ranks, and a series against Australia in Australia is a litmus test. It's a trial by fire. Champions are made and many broken in such series. And India is going to start on the back foot here. They don't have their skipper at the start. We've mentioned that. Though he will be there, he will be amidst them because he'll be travelling well in advance, but he will not be there in that first test. So in addition to missing his services as a skipper, they will miss an experienced batter too, an experienced opening bat. And that's not all. India will also miss the services of one of their top order batters, Shubman Gill. Reports say he got struck on his thumb and that has ruled him out of that first test, with the management hoping against hope that Gill will be fit and back for the second. KL Rahul, who showed some prowess with the bat, also had an injury scare. He was struck on his elbow by a Prasidh Krishna delivery, but nothing serious to put him away. In fact, KL Rahul provided some spark in that match simulation over the weekend. Australia holds, in fact, very special memories for KL Rahul. And maybe this is where India will look to him to stand tall. The other batters waiting in the wings are Abhimanyu Easwaran, who was called up as a backup for Rohit Sharma, and Devdutt Padikkal, who has been asked to stay back post the India A series. Padikkal has, of course, played just one test for India, and it came against England in India in Dharamshala. Could these men make it to the 11? But with some serious experience with the bat missing out in that top order, India could also be tempted to bat deep. A bowling all-rounder then, that could be an option, with Harshit Rana or Nitish Reddy primed to making their debut, possibly. Speaking of fast bowlers, here's a sight every Indian cricket fan was waiting for: the return of Mohammad Shami to a cricket ground. He hit the ground running in his domestic comeback at home and is set to get on that flight to Australia. What a sight it will be to watch him bowling alongside Jasprit Bumrah. That ought to boost the Indian morale in the series, with the World Test Championship final on the line. First test is critical. And that could make all the difference. But is India ready to take off from the get-go?